Welcome back, guys, and welcome to the preparation for the building of Fenrir. Okay, little disclaimer before we start. This is not a video for the great guitar build-off. This is not a video for the great guitar build-off. This is just so if you are a judge, you can skip this video, or if you are interested anyway, if you want to see how I came out with the idea of Fenrir, you can see this video. Yes, this video is about the actual building and the actual design of Fenrir, which will be my entry for the Great Guitar Build-Off of this year, of the 21. And I want to do a video where I explain how I came out with the idea and how I'm going to design this thing. Now, to be totally honest, this video, I'm doing this video about one month. I already have 80% of the build done, but I have the footage of me drawing the project, so why not doing this video? And I'm starting with this. Now, to make you understand how I came out with this idea, we have to go back to 1 year ago when I was, like everybody in Italy, in quarantine. I was bored, and I see a video of Patrick Harris, I think it's called. It's a YouTuber, it's a bass player, and it's a funny guy, a great guy. So if you want to see some bass video, you can go to his channel. And I see a video of a basics, which is basically a short scale 6-string bass that is tuned like a guitar, and yes, the string spacing of the guitar. And I thought, I want that thing. I want that. Now, I wasn't already in the building instrument kind of vibe. I build a ultra short scale bass, but I never built a proper neck, a real proper neck, because that was a fretless instrument. And anyway, I said that I want that, and I made it. I want the basics because I thought that it will be interesting to have 2 higher string, can be more melodic of an instrument, and I like the idea of the short scale bass to make some chords, which I'm studying. I'm trying to emulate Gizdala, basically, Yannick Gizdala, and you know, I thought that it would be interesting. So I have this body of a Stratocaster laying around, $60 Stratocaster, and I built this neck completely out of pallet wood. In fact, it's not really pretty, but it works. And I have to remake some frets here and there because they are not perfectly level, but it's good. It's good. It works. And, you know, I like this bass, and I use it. But right now it's tuned as a baritone guitar, in reality, because after I made this, I thought, what if I have a bass like this, with 6-string, with 2 higher string, but tuning 4ths, so they will go from E to F, and with more string spacing, because I can really use my finger technique, the plucking technique that I used to with the bass. So I need a little bit more space. I can even slap without some problem. So I thought, why not? Why not something like this, but a little more larger? And after I built this, basically 2 or 3 months later, I came out with this, which is Scolenati. It's a 32 to 30 inch scale bass, because I want to use thicker string for the E, so it's more bass than a guitar. And it's tuned E to F with 5-string P bass, P pickups, and I made this out of pine and pallet wood. It's turned out good, to be honest. I really like this bass, and I use it ever since. It's like 8 months now, and I use this every day for the practice, because I really love the shape, I really love the string spacing. It's for me. This is for me. But this thing has some problem. One is for design, because I made the lower horn too short. In reality, I made it too short. And the other is, well, it's technical, because this thing has a really big problem of neck drop, because the body is very light, but the headstock with 6 tuning peg of the bass, it's really heavy, so this thing just has a lot of problem when it comes to neck drop. But I still love it, I still like it, I still use this basically every day. And when the Great Guitar Build-Off came out, I said, you know what, I can do another one. Because when I was practicing with this, I thought that I want another one of this, but tuned as a regular C-string bass, so B to C. And I also want another version of this, tuned like this, but headless. So when the Great Guitar Build-Off came out, was announced, I said to myself, why I can do both? And it's what I'm doing right now in reality. I'm building a 7-string headless multi-scale bass. It's again a medium to short scale bass. It's gonna be a 32.5 inch to 13 inch. It's gonna be headless, and I made some sketch on paper, and now I'm gonna show you how I came out with the final design. So let's go. I will do a commentary over to show you exactly what I'm doing and what I'm thinking. But to make it clear, because this thing has a problem with the body, which is too light and too small, I thought that I will use the measure of this, which is my Ibanez Soundgear 506. Again, another bass that I love and I use a lot. I really love the shape, the measurement of this body. So basically I'm going to do a crossover between this and that bass with a mix of the Strattenberg guitar that I like. So I'm using basically the measurement of this, the neck and the string spacing. The neck is going to be basically a 6-string, but a little bit thicker, but with 7-string. That string spacing, that's it. So let's go, and I will let you see what I come out. I start attaching two pieces of paper with some clear tape, and then I carefully drew the center line. A very important step because everything that I will draw is in relation with the center line. So don't mess up this part at the beginning. I drew a perpendicular line, something like 50 centimeter from one edge of the paper, and that will be the bridge. Then I measured 13 inch from there and drew another line, the nut. These two lines are temporary because I want to make a multi-scale base and this is just a short scale base. But now I can measure the distance between the first and the seventh string, both at the nut and at the bridge, and I can draw them. As you can see from the block notice, I take all this measurement beforehand and I did some sketch in order to have a clear idea of what I want for the final design and for video purposes. Anyway, I drew the first and seventh string and find the position of the 9th fret. This will be perpendicular to the center line, or as they call it, it's the parallel frets. You can make any fret the parallel one, or even no one, really, even if it's a convenient thing during the building process having one of them. In this case I decided for the 9 because I think it gave a nice balance to the thumb frets all over the neck, and it's comfortable to play, so 9 it is. And then, after I found the nut, I found the 24 frets, which is the last one that I need on the fretboard, and find the position of the bridge. By the way, here I made a mistake, but I will explain it later. Now I made the neck 5mm bigger on both sides and behind the 24 fret, because this adjusts the string and they cannot be at the edge of the fingerboard or they will be unplayable. So I made everything just 5mm bigger, 5mm larger, so I have more material. And at this point I have the fingerboard basically done. Now I start working on the body. I measure the thinner and larger point of my bonnet base. The first one will be the bottom of the inner curve of the body, roughly in line with the neck pickup. The second is the highest point of the curve, and it's where the bridge is. Then I found the end of the lower and higher horn in relation to the fret. For example, the higher horn should end in this design at the 14th fret. At this point, I did some piece of paper where I need it, and then just drew lightly a first idea of the body. I then take the bridge saddle and saw where they should end up, and decide how much space I need behind the bridge. It's worth mentioning that I placed the bridge half an inch, 1.2 centimeter back from the first line that I drew, so that the final intonation should be spot on, without moving the saddle too much. I then drew the end of the body, and once I was happy with the design, I drew some thick line just to consolidate everything in my mind. I check with my 6-string bass just to see if the measurements were right, and then I finished the drawing. I found where the 36th fret will be, because I want the pickup to be parallel with this fret. So they are angled in a midway between the bridge and the end of the neck, and so will give the impression that the thumb frets was still going even through the body. I think it's nice. I made some quick template for the pickup. I didn't have the pickup at the time, so the measurements aren't right, but this should be the typical shot bar 6-string bass pickup, so it's fine. I just need to have a rough idea of where I want them and how big they are until I have the right pickup, but just a millimeter difference here. I drew where the pickup should be, and then I finished the S-stock, which is just a small rectangle, nothing fancy here. You know, it's called headless for a reason. And then I drew where the contour cavity should be, and I leave enough space for 3 knobs and 1 jack, because I want the jazz bass style wiring. And last but not least, I drew the end of the neck cavity behind the neck, so I have the body ready for a template when I need it. As you can see, this is exactly a crossover between my Ibanez bass for the dimension, my 6-string bass Scolenati, and for the general look, and the back is I take a lot for the end of the body from Stradmer guitar, because I think they look really nice with this style, the fan frets headless bass. So, and they should be really comfortable, by the way. So this is it. I was happy with the design, so I take some piece of cardboard and I will take it from the shop here. Okay, so this is the basic idea. This is my basic idea for the build for Fenrir. Come on. This is the basic idea for Fenrir, and I laid out everything on cardboard because I don't want to make the same mistake that I did on that. So I want to see if everything is comfortable, and I like the shape. And yes, I like the shape. I end up doing some little adjustment later that I can already tell you. Mainly, I made the lower horn a little bigger because I thought that maybe it's too small. I don't have a problem with the curve. I have a problem that I fear that this thing will break. And I made a mistake during the design, because I measure the length of the of my 7-string 2 centimeter longer, and it's a fortune thing that I spotted that mistake later on, because I already made the adjustment, and it's a fortune thing that I made 2 centimeter longer and not shorter, because you can always take away wood without any problem, but you know, I did something, it's a problem. So things that I didn't do now, that I didn't do when I did the design, was thinking about something like the beveling, the engraving that I want to put on this thing, because I want to put an engraving of Fenrir in Viking style art, and I'm thinking about the beveling and everything else, and I didn't do that while I was drawing, because I want to leave myself some room to improve later, and you will actually see that I did something I can say cool. So I leave myself some room to work, because I like this. I like to have the shape at least and the basic of the design done, and then if I want to make some change later, I can always do. So with this, thank you for watching. I hope you will see the entire the entire series. It will be 6 videos, not longer than 15 minutes. Just saying. So I hope that you will like it, because I'm liking the result right now, and I can't wait to see this thing done. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and bye.